In the room I see that to my left is a door, and to my right another door. Both similar in shape, texture, height, and color. Separated by only a few on a single wall. I open the left door and I see a long hallway, a hallway with no end in sight. After being thoroughly spooked, I look into the right. I see nothing. Near complete darkness. I step inside, I try and find a light switch, there is nothing. I go to turn around but the door slams shut. The door won't open and I begin to hear shuffling. The sound of at least a dozen people breathing and moving closer to me. I feel fear in the pit of my stomach and then. Happy birthday! The lights turn on and at least 15 people are standing around me with cake and streamers. They all begin to sing to me. My fear holds strong, today is not my birthday, I have no idea who these people are. As they sing they slowly creep in closer and closer. They are nearly on top of me, and then I see another door slightly ajar. I quickly slide through two strangers, but they grab onto my jacket. I look back and see that their eyes are full of darkness. I quickly take my jacket off and sprint to the door, shutting it behind me. The next room is much larger. I begin to wonder where I am, what I am doing, and who I even am, but before I have time to even think a hole begins to open up. The room being so big and the hole opening up at a slow rate leaves me some time to analyze. Yet again, the door I just used is locked. I wouldn't want to go back regardless. Although, across the way I can see another door. This is much smaller than any of the previous doors, but it seems to be the only form of escape. The hole is continuously opening and gaining diameter. I quickly sprint to the other side. As I am but a few feet from the door, I begin to feel the floor begin to warp. Walking forward has become much more difficult and only increases with every second. I eventually climb up enough to reach the handle. The hole has almost filled the entire room, I am nearly hanging off of the doorknob struggling to turn it. Eventually I manage to work it, and I crawl into the incredibly small door. As I have now nearly died twice, I am quite skeptical of this room. I cannot properly tell the size. There are countless rows and rows of books. I pick up a few, each have no title and nothing is written. As far as I can tell, none of the seemingly thousands of books have anything written. I walk through the room. There is no other door than the locked one I came through. The room has 50 rows of books on each side, each row is long enough to be a hallway of its own. With nothing else to look for I search through the books. I cannot say how long I was there for. I never grew hungry or tired. I simply existed. I did, however, get frustrated. I looked through every book and found nothing. I looked at every wall and found nothing. There was no sign of an exit anywhere. It almost made me miss the fake family that sang to me. My frustration grew until I simply became so mad I ripped one of the books. I continued ripping books as I needed to vent some way, and this was as good as any. After a few dozen books were shredded I calmed down. Trying to piece together the book proved impossible, and I moved on. Looking around for any other secrets, I see plain as day the handle of a door. Puzzled, I go and pull on it. Nothing happens. I am positive that it is impossible I missed it earlier. Meaning, something I did had caused this to happen. The only thing possible would have been the ripping of books. I grabbed the closest book I could get and ripped it apart. I could barely make out a small line of wood in the door. With this revelation I tore as many books as I could. After going through possibly millions of pages, the door eventually revealed itself. It was an odd door. It was the same color and general size of the first few doors, but this time it was curved at the top and bottom. It almost resembled an egg. I opened it and stepped through, this time keeping it open. The book room was relatively safe, I figured that I could use it to retreat if needed. As I walked through the doorway I could see bits of furniture. It seemed like a very common living room. I went to sit down at one of the chairs, but it suddenly wasn't there. The original pattern had 2 chairs, a long table made of wood, a lamp, and the flooring and wall color was orange. At the moment I sat it all changed. The coloration was now green with 3 chairs, a smaller glass table, and a much larger lamp. Perplexed, I got up after attempting to sit down. This green room, as well as the orange, had no second door. I could still go back to the book room. Out of pure curiosity, I attempted to sit down again. Yet, the same phenomena occurred. A shift in decor, this time a yellow room but still no door. There were no windows, no doors, and nothing underneath or inside of any of the furniture. I did not think destroying the furniture would work the way it had in the book room, so I decided to attempt to sit again. I went through this multiple times, each attempt brought a new color. I went through every color that I could imagine, and even a few I did not know exist. Until eventually the room lost all color. There was no furniture, the book room's door disappeared, and replaced by all of this was a simple gray room. No new door had surfaced. I was afraid I broke whatever mechanism had taken place. So I tried to sit down. Once I did, a door appeared. When I got up, it disappeared again. I sat down and it reappeared. With seemingly no other option, I dragged my butt across the room and into the door frame. I was met with a room full of clothing. There were shirts, shoes, pants, jackets, underwear, and anything else that could be worn in some fashion. None of it was hanging, it was all piled into a huge lump in the middle of the room. I decided to grab a jacket and a new pair of shoes. After I went digging. This room was not actually a room. There were no walls, and so there were no doors. My only though was to dig through the clothing. None of them held anything of value. It was only after countless hours that I got to the bottom. This is where I found a door actually made of a variety of clothing. With no hesitation, I stepped in and left the clothing room. In the room, I see that to my left is a door, and to my right another door. Both similar in shape, texture, height, and color. Separated by only a few on a single wall. I open the left door and I see a long hallway, a hallway with no end in sight. After being thoroughly spooked, I look into the right. I see nothing. Near complete darkness.